So today we're going to talk more about ENTPs. Keep listening if you're an ENTP and you want to learn more about 3 tips to support yourself to sort of unleash your magic and a stretch opportunity, as well as if you know an ENTP, if you think someone's an ENTP in your life, a loved one, a coworker, we'll give you 3 tips to be able to support them as well. So let's dig in. First, we're going to give a quick big picture overview. So ENTP in the Myers-Briggs system, E stands for extroverted. So we call them solar powered. They need that external energy to bounce off of. If they spend too much time out of preference, like on their own, on solo activities, they can really power down, and they need that extroverted time to be able to recharge with other people out in the world. They also talk through their thoughts oftentimes as extroverts. The second letter in Myers-Briggs for ENTP is an N, and so that stands for intuitive. Big picture focus, what if, what could be, really is their first function, like want to talk out ideas in an extroverted way and put those ideas out there. So very, very driven by ideas and future thinking. The T is decision making. So focus on thinking for decision making. So more logic focus, want to create a precedent when they're making decisions for all future similar situations. And then P is perceiving. So that's very open-ended. Wanting to keep their options open as long as possible. I also say looking at the environment as options to be explored. And so when you put all that all together, you get an ENTP. Some folks call them the inventive challenger. And so core traits for ENTPs, they're often very curious, strategic, having that T in the middle, big picture and logic focus, and of course, big picture thinkers. So great folks to have on your team or in your life. Some workplace strengths, typically very excited about innovation, like trying new things. Let's get those new ideas out there. Can be spontaneous, can be like with humor and fun, bring some fun to the workplace, as well as like being ready to kind of move between different ideas and like go to plan B, plan C, plan D if something doesn't work out quite like we thought it would. And related, brainstorming. Like if you need some brainstorm time, then pull in your ENTP buddies because they will be there with you, whether it's like at a restaurant, just kicking back, or at work. Some famous ENTPs we think are Mark Twain, a lot of inventors, Thomas Edison, and then Celine Dion, and then me, Katie Jones, the founder of KJ Consulting Group, who's doing this video. So definitely an ENTP. I really resonate with this description. Now, if you're an ENTP, we're going to give you 3 tips and a stretch opportunity to really be able to tap into your magic. So again, you probably live for new ideas and love that uncharted territory. So first tip is to follow your spark. So make sure you pay attention to things that you're energized by. You typically like to find new problems to solve. And so pay attention to what that is and make sure you seek that out and have that in your life. Don't sort of discount that, but really look at those things that bring you to life, sort of. A second tip for ENTPs is set flexible goals. So, of course, goals are important for all of us. People with that P in their profile, especially ENTPs, for example, really want some flexibility and not so much rigidity. So make sure that you understand, like, you want that direction to follow and work towards, but you're able to be flexible during that process. Maybe you finish your goal early, maybe you kind of adjust it along the way and still hit that deadline. But it's good to have some flexibility in the goals that you set. And then a third tip for ENTPs is to make sure that you talk out your ideas. You, just like me, you probably have a thrill like for processing ideas out loud. You have that big need for processing out loud with other people. So find some folks that you trust, either at your workspace or in your life outside of work, to be able to brainstorm with and just say, hey, I'm just talking this out right here. Can I trust you? Can you just let me go with it and talk that out? A stretch opportunity is related to ENTPs is to be able to really like follow through on these ideas that are you kind of want to prioritize. So whatever your best ideas are, whatever your top priority is right now, like make sure you do make that time to follow through rather than getting stuck in a cycle of like jumping from idea to idea, because that is potential downfall of folks like an ENFP or ENTP, folks with N and P in their profile. And so you could really develop your project planning skills. I know that's something that's helped me a lot in my work a long time ago. Like I learned to project plan and really use that to drive forward. And if we really think back, like successful folks and folks who are doing well in life, whatever that looks like for you, we have ways to tap into that project planning, tap into that planning focus. So even if it was in school, or in a job earlier on, like think back and figure out what are your ways that you kind of balance that out, balance your ideas out with project planning. And you might be able to find some folks in your network, in your life, who will help you to follow through well. So, for instance, folks who are ISFJ, so the complete opposite type of the ENTP, can still help you balance that out. ISTJs, like I have a lot of coworkers that I really love who are ISFJs and ISTJs who help to balance out my penchant for following a lot of ideas, and we helped, they helped me to kind of project plan and follow through. So now we're going to go to some tips for people who work with ENTPs. How can you help support the amazing folks that are ENTPs? Again, they're super quick thinking, strategic idea machines. So first tip for supporting them is to let them brainstorm. That brainstorming process, that talking ideas out loud is really important. And so ENTPs need freedom to be able to talk that out loud without fear that their ideas are going to get shot down too early. Like in the early stages, if it's just drafting, if it's just brainstorming, they need you to just listen to them and let them go. Maybe you talk out the ideas, but don't shoot it down too early when it's just some kind of in the spontaneous planning phase. A second tip is to keep it playful. So a lot of ENTPs like me are motivated by humor. We again like love to chase these ideas, love to innovate, love to problem solve, love to be spontaneous. And I know for me, like humor really can motivate me to keep making progress when we're in that messy middle process, when we're not quite at the end, we're in the middle, kind of understanding what things are going to look like. So just keep it fun. Like know that they might bring some humor to the situation, and that can be a really a joy bringer for coworkers, for loved ones, for teammates. So know that that is fun. And then a third tip for supporting ENTPs is to help them follow up on their priorities in a collaborative way. Typically, ENTPs really love that collaboration, love to work with other people. And so if there's not a lot of structure to their priorities, like they might lose some interest. So as a coworker, they like to collaborate on that planning process and knocking it out. So help them to do that. And then there's a little overlap with the DISC system. So if you know DISC, DISC, it's also based on the work of Carl Jung. A lot of people use it. And so ENTPs often express high I characteristics when you look at the DISC system, maybe one of the other letters as well, depending on the person. But for sure, that I, that influential enthusiasm, really, really uh, love the enthusiasm, love people, charismatic, idea-driven, extroverted. That is really kind of an overlap between ENTP and in the Myers-Briggs system and the DISC. And we love collaborating with people. As you may be able to tell, I really love working with people on Myers-Briggs and kind of learn more about their own type, how to support other people as well, and communication and trust building and navigating conflict and just growing in your own leadership style, whatever that looks like. So feel free to reach out to us if you're interested in learning more. www.kjconsultinggroup.com. Thank you.